I've lived 1,000 lives. I've piloted 1,000 souls. I've killed and fought and died just for another role.
This is the Happy Jacks RPG podcast, a roundtable discussion that's a mix of friendship, humor, unbridled enthusiasm, and tabletop RPG topics sent in from around the world.
Just for another role.
Hello, and welcome to Season 35, Episode 11 of the Happy Jacks RPG podcast. My name is Kimmy.
I'm Kadave.
I'm Pooja.
And Clara may or may not be joining us, depending on the LA traffic, so we will see. In today's episode, we have Jorn from the rapidly thawing Sweden, as they say, asking about new people trying RPGs and their attitude towards it. And we also have Jolene writing in about Stars and Wishes as a reply to a previous episode from earlier this season. And from the archive in 2018, we have Craig writing in with a pseudo-horror story and some advice. If you'd like to add a topic or a question to the show, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. That's happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. Or you can drop something in the mailbag channel of the Discord, and that's at happyjacks.org/discord. And we really could use some content right now. If you would like to write an email, ask a question, share a story, we're running a little low. You guys, you did great. You did great for a while, and now it seems like you're like chilling out a little bit.
I mean, callbacks to previous episodes are always appreciated,
yeah.
as we're gonna see tonight.
Absolutely. Callbacks are just calling us out, just being like, hey, no, I'm sorry.
Don't call me out. I don't appreciate it. I am always correct when you're talking about.
Statistically, I feel like it probably will be me called out since I'm here the most often. So statistically, like call me out. That's fine. I can handle it. Also, I will just make it so I was right. No, I'm just kidding.
Go back and
It's just
retcon.
it's like the Simpsons, Mr. Black. But it's like Kimmy saying, like, "Oh yeah, that rule's really important," and I really thought this all along. Like,
Absolutely. All right, announcements. Game days was today. It's been going really great.
Woo!
Super awesome. There were, I think, 9 games. It was fantastic, and it's still happening. So if you're listening
Keep on
live,
trucking.
yeah, you're doing great. We love you all. Also, we said this last week, but our Patreon has officially switched to the official monthly subscription model. And what's really cool about us being super stubborn and not switching until Patreon made us is that they have let us keep our grandfathered in rate since we have a really, really old ass Patreon. They only take 5%, which is actually a lot less than other like
Nice.
comparable platforms. But they've been trying to get us to move to the subscription model voluntarily for a really long time, but they were going to take away that grandfathered rate if we switch. So it's like, nope, I will fake it. I will do everything possible. So they finally like, okay, you have to move to this model now. Since we're making you, you can keep your rate. So yeah, go stubbornness.
so your patronage dollars go farther at Happy Jacks than most other places.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, than every other place.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
there might be a couple
Unless
of
you
crazy
have
holdouts
like Kimmy's
that.
actual PayPal account, like it goes further than any other place.
I mean, I don't know. PayPal's pretty shitty now. It's like so bad now. But yeah, so just rest easy if you're a Patreon or if that was one of your hesitations, because I know some of you have been reaching out with concerns about Patreon and things like that. Yes, they have started taking more money from other people, which is terrible, but they don't take that money from us. So yeah, and if we were to move to Ko-Fi or Coffee or whatever you say, or a lot of other ones, it's actually higher. I am still looking into alternatives for those of you asking, but for now, this is still kind of the best option since we've grandfathered in at that rate. Indie Designer of the Month. Our Indie Designer of the Month for today, yeah, that's right, because we're at the end of March, is Jean-Luc from The Dungeon's Key. You can find his work on DriveThruRPG by searching it, or you can find them at The Dungeon's Key on Blue Sky, or thedungeonskey.com. Today's product, we're talking about Take Then Thy Bond. The voice inside your head commands you. Travel to the wastelands and find the wretched peak. Scour its halls. Bring me its heart, and the rest of the treasure is yours. Take then thy bond is a Morkborg compatible pyramid crawl with a total of 14 rooms in a living pyramid to explore across 2 levels. And it's
Like
available.
as you're walking around the pyramid, it's like, ooh, that tickles.
I mean, I'm guessing it's probably.
I think it sounds more serious than that.
Yeah.
But that's the pyramid in my head now.
If you say Morkborg like I do, it probably is that. If you say Morkborg, then it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah,
Morkborg.
yeah.
It's a Morkborg
It's
pyramid.
like a dancing. Oh, it's very nice.
Like when you say it that way, to me, it sounds like it's like a Muppet.
Yeah.
It's a Muppet
The
pyramid.
Swedish Chef Pyramid. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Which should be right up your alley.
Yes.
That would be amazing. That would be an amazing Morkborg thing.
Like, please run this so I can be in
I
it.
will 100% love to GM a game on stream as the Swedish Chef.
Give me.
Like, I'll do the puppet part
Yeah.
and
Oh,
somebody else does the arms.
Yes.
All right, so I'm very sure, very scary, very serious. Take then thy bond for Morkborg, which I won't say like a Swedish chef, is available for $2.09 at thedungeonskeys.com.
It's a deal.
Yeah, super good
It's
deal.
a steeple.
Yeah. Speaking of puppeting, took Laurelyn to Universal Studios for the first time today, and they have the coolest raptor puppets. Have you seen them? They're like life size, and there's people in them, like moving them.
Yeah.
They're wild. It looks just like a freaking raptor. She was terrified and did not want to go anywhere near it, but it was like
Have you seen
amazing.
the little baby ones?
Yeah, she did like those.
Those are adorable.
Yeah, where it's like it got like the fake arm, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then it's like the person's like moving the little baby's head. She liked those, but the big blue one that was like
walking around and
yeah, I was staring at it because it looks so cool. Like it's a person in a costume with like all the little puppeting. It like its eyes blink. It looks so realistic. I was just like
Amazing.
They are awesome.
I was just staring at it for a long time trying to figure out how they did it all as like a costumer. Like it's amazing.
It's super high tech inside.
Yeah, it
they're
must
like
be.
in the like their whole upper body is in the raptor body.
Yeah.
And they've got video monitors in there, so they're
Mm-hmm.
looking out and they can interact with people well that
It's
way.
gotten a lot, like puppeteering and that kind of like costume character has gotten a lot fancier in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And a lot less likely to make you pass out from heat exhaustion.
Yes, it seemed that way. And also, like, it's wild when it's like little raptor head like turns and like looks right at you, and you're just like, "Oh, good job, puppeteer. Please stop. Please stop now." All right. Anyway, so that's my tangent about puppeteering today. All right, mailbag number 1. Who would like to read this one?
Would you or would you like me?
Okay, I got pointed at, so
No,
I'm gonna
no.
assume it's me.
It was a not a point. It was a please go ahead or I can do it. I don't care.
I can do it. Greetings, my happiest of Jacks, Jills, Jaquettes, and everyone in between. It is I, June from Sweden, writing to you from the not quite frozen any longer north.
Welcome to spring.
Here I was, listening the other day to the revered Phil and Senda talking about recruiting new players, when I came to a realization. Out of the non-RPG players I've invited to play RPGs with me, most fall into the distinct categories enthusiastics and hesitants. You know the ones. Enthusiastics go, I can play with you? Fuck yeah! I've always wanted to try this. While hesitants don't really know what it is and need some coaxing to make up their mind. But then there are the absolutely notters. Absolutely notters often have dead set opinions that make them not want to play. For example, they could be overly religious, having bought into the satanic panic. So they have this idea that these games are evil or ungodly somehow. Or they are the kinds of people who think TTRPGs are just lame or really boring. But what really burns me is when they are gamers that seem terrified at the thought of sitting down with other gamers for a TTRPG. Absolutely notters tend to give vague, sweeping reasons for not joining. I could never do that, or it's just not my thing, are things I've heard, and they cannot be swayed. One I asked is a board gamer who is still in my social circle and is fine with sitting down to listen to people playing a TTRPG. And who would ever do that? but not to participate. I've asked a couple musicians with acting talents who don't give it the time of day. One had no trouble playing the fool in front of hundreds of people, but playing pretend with a handful of people? Nope. At the end of the day, I have to accept that this hobby is not for everyone, and that maybe the small, tight-knit environment of a TTRPG table may cause anxiety with people who are otherwise perfectly fun-loving, social, and what have you. Have you had people that seem terrified at the mere thought of trying an RPG? Thank you for reading. Sincerely, Jorn from the rapidly thawing Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people in my life.
I actually used to play TTRPGs with my wife. When I started doing Happy Jack stuff, she's like, "Oh no, that you're too serious about it now. I don't want to play anymore." I'm out."
Aww.
So she has not since. It's been 15 years or more since we've
Yeah.
done anything game kind of related.
Wow. You just
She's
became a
like-
professional and she's like out.
Yeah, I guess. Ooh, professional me.
Yeah.
I've earned $7 doing this over all the years.
Air quotes, professional. Hey,
But
we
yeah,
we
yeah.
get beer out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I it's wonderful. I'm having a great time.
How else am I going to feed my fizzy water addiction?
Yes. Thank you. I do need to replenish our fizzy water.
So yeah, I get it. I totally get it. There are people that are intimidated by the hobby in general and the idea of sitting down and letting go. The people that I've had that have successfully kind of moved past that are the ones that I try and encourage them to speak in third person. Because it creates a little invisible barrier so they can not have to feel the embarrassment
Yeah.
of it. And even I do it sometimes. Like when I'm playing, I'm go, okay, well, here's what he's going to do. You know, and I think we all do at some point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
where you talk about your character as an additional person at the table. But that kind of is the best solution I've had to, if you can get someone to the table, but then they're feeling anxious about it or they're being shy about it, just tell me what you think your character would want to do and we'll figure it out. Like that.
Yeah. I think there's something very different and like more intimate about like they use the example of someone who's fine, like playing the fool in front of 100 people. That's there's nothing intimate about that. Like there's a little bit, like there's like a relationship there, like you're paying attention to the audience and how they respond. But sitting at a table with people like interacting with you that are probably your close friends is a totally different thing. Like people think that's less scary. For a lot of outgoing people, that is much more scary. So I don't know. I just, that's a different scary. And those, just because someone's okay being on stage does not mean they're okay being a character in close proximity with other people who know them well.
For sure.
I'm gonna be honest that like I kind of get it too, because a thing that we don't talk a lot about when it comes to RPGs, and yes, there are tons of different like systems where it's more RP heavy versus more rules heavy or whatever, but like the barrier to entry of like, okay, dice, okay, actual rules is higher for a lot of people who haven't grown up in the hobby or are coming to it later than we who have been in the hobby for a long time give it credit for. Like the idea of like having to learn the system or being at a table where you don't know it and everyone else does. And people get burned by that kind of stuff throughout their entire lives. School has taught us to fear things, is what I'm saying, because we don't all have teachers as great as Kimmy is.
I fear Kimmy.
Guess what? 5-year-olds do not. They do not.
They don't know to be scared.
I would like if some of them were a little more fearful, just a little, not like a lot, but just like
Just enough.
a little more.
Just a little more fear.
Little.
Just to
But
be a little
like-
more scared.
It's so I kind of get it on that level, but yeah, I know people who are like, I tell them I play TTRPGs on the weekends, and they're like, my my favorite is, not that I've tried to play games like TTRPGs with my mom, but she calls me and she's like, "Did you play your game with your friends today?" Like I'm 5.
That's really cute.
She's like, oh, even when she's here and like there's a game going on, there's like people just randomly walking in the backyard. She's like, are you playing a game tonight or are people stealing things? I'm like, no, that's Dave, Mom. You've seen Dave. Those are my friends.
Specifically, I've talked to you like a lot.
Stealing things.
Next time I'm gonna come back here when I see the little note that the dog might be in the yard, and I'm just gonna pick something up and walk out.
Yeah, my mom is super paranoid about the dog. She has a medium-sized little dog. She's very nervous about people coming back and recording shows and letting the dog out. So she puts little handwritten notes everywhere so that nobody lets the dog out. It's charming and also just a little stressful because she'll leave and be like, I don't know if I put the note out. I'm like, they're good. It's fine. I let everyone know, Mom, it's fine.
Do you want to know a weird trick I learned for that?
What?
Doctors hate this. No. The if you're trying to remember a habit that is that your brain doesn't like to record, if you do something weird after you do the habit, your brain remembers the weird thing you did. So like if you forget to lock your door at night, if you like clap right afterwards, one, it does look like you applauded yourself for nothing, which is always funny. And two, you're like, did I lock the door? Yeah, I applauded myself afterwards. I'm like, okay, I guess I did it.
Okay, Mom, next time you put the little note about the dog out, do a pirouette. It'll be fine.
I did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Gotta get really nice.
It's
Oh,
really
I have to do that when I'm closing the garage door because like
Oh,
the
yeah.
number of times I've made the block.
Yeah, it's weird. It worked for me anyway.
I dig it.
Yeah. I also think, so going back to the actual email, not dog notes.
Not dog nuts.
I think that TTRPGs are this weird, like, cross-section, like, Venn diagram of so many skills.
Yeah.
Like, there's rules, like you were talking about. There's the mechanics piece. So they have to be a gamer who, in some way, likes mechanics. You know, we joke a lot about how we play, like, very rules-light games. But even rules-light RPGs have a lot more rules than most people who play, like, checkers and stuff like that.
It's one of the reasons why the couple of times I've experimented with taking the step into like LARP games is I don't have fun with them because they don't have the framework that I can work inside.
Yeah.
Like the framework of tabletop gaming is what I like to have built around me. So I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
This is the world I'm in and I can do things
I
here.
find the amorphous nature of LARP terrifying.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I feel like I'm being attacked.
No,
No, you're right.
I'm not saying it
Also
just because
looking
you
there.
arrived.
Yeah, hello.
It's just, in my experience, when you start to open it up, so it's just, here's some general things and wander around and talk to people and make a game. I'm always like, well, what can I do? Like, do I have, or like a couple of times I have friends that have been playing in like a 25 or 30 year long narrative game.
Yeah.
And there are no rules.
It's just make believe.
Yes.
Like, you're fully just playing.
And I'm like,
listen,
no. I need a defined set of skills that I can go to know what I can do. Because if I'm just let off the chain, I'm going to do something weird that's too far. And everybody's going to be like, well, okay. We don't want to play with the thermonuclear guy again.
Everybody wants to play with Mr. Clean.
Only the rules are holding Dave back for everyone. That's
right.
it. We just learned the
just
rules.
Global
The
destruction.
character sheets are holding you back.
It's like containing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
No, I get it.
It's my version of the genie lamp.
Mhm.
Right? Infinite cosmic power, itty bitty living space. Right? Like, I need the living space, because if I'm just let out and I can do whatever the fuck I want, then it's going to be a
Chaos.
nightmare.
So-
Oh no. Okay, so okay. Gotta put these in order. First of all, this does remind me a lot of like people who are like, I don't want to be. The email reminds me a lot of. We met a lot of parents when I was working at Camp Half-Blood, which was a LARP camp for kids, based on the Percy Jackson series. We get a lot of parents who are just like, you're very whimsical here, and it really feels derogatory when they say it like that.
it's like,
It's like, call me
is
a
Queen
slur.
Victoria? Like
I feel like I've been insulted by you saying this, and I don't know how to articulate that other than, I guess take your kid. But like there is this thing of like there is we have a strong mental barrier of the like one, we don't want to be wrong about things, and if you do not have rules, if you don't have rules, and you get something wrong, there's no way to fall back on. Okay, I looked at the rules, and the rules said that I did it wrong. You just have to wait till everyone else shames you. And that's how our society works, and that's why it's really hard to be neurodivergent here. And that sucks. And so I think a lot of adults, people who have it in their heads that you cannot play make-believe because that's a kid thing, also kind of couch it in that shame of, I don't want to get that make-believe wrong. And, like, that's sad. I don't have a solution for that. Fix it. Figure it out.
I think that's really on the nose, because a lot of people, that weird amorphous discomfort they have, I think really comes from that.
Yeah.
They, like, we're taught, we're supposed to grow up, we stop playing pretend, like some of us find other avenues to keep doing it because it's really healthy for us, actually. We become actors, or we keep doing tabletop games, or whatever we do. But a lot of people who disconnect from that have this like mental discomfort with trying to click back into that because they have lost that fearlessness that kids have with just pretending. And it's something that as they get older, they start being more self-conscious about until they eventually, kind of try and leave it behind or find a window that's acceptable to society to engage with it as adults. But I think there's a real there with that.
Yeah. I mean, and we, like, I think we could all go back and, like, think about that time when, like, we were shamed by either the people around us or people older than us or whatever for, like, just having unadulterated joy at something. For some of us, it happened last week. It's fine.
Yeah.
You good, bro?
I'm fine.
And it's so there's a barrier of shame, and that is like we don't want to act, even if I'm acting the fool on the stage as a merry wife, it's a different vibe than when I do something out of pocket at a LARP, because first of all, y'all paid to see me, so whatever, you seem to have invested in that weird choice, and then so there's a power dynamic a little bit in that, like, you seem to have indulged in this to see me. Cool, I can do whatever the fuck I want here now.
I think
There's a literal buy-in.
Yeah,
there's a literal buy-in.
and you can leave. Like, there's an open door policy for the audience. Like, you come, and if you are sitting and you are staying, that is on you. That is your choice. You can leave at any time. People stand up and walk out all the time, and it's like, okay. So
It's one of my favorite things.
yeah. Oh my
Clara
God.
knows.
Watching people leave because they're upset or
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so good.
God.
It's so
Devastating.
delicious.
I used to follow them down the aisle, singing louder at them.
I
I got in trouble for that, and then I told them not to do it anymore.
don't shame people for being shy.
I wasn't. Usually it wasn't that. Usually it was like, I don't know.
I don't know. You're going to a fair, and then you're going to see Merry Wives. I feel like you know what you came in.
Yeah.
The weirdest one is
There's
people will take people to see the wives as like let's surprise them with the wives. I'm like, don't do that. If you have weird if you don't know how your friends are gonna react to dirty music, don't do that to people. Sorry, that's a side thing.
Buy-in.
Consent.
Yeah, buy-in.
Yeah.
When people walk out of shows, I'm just like, okay, it's fine. For no reason. I just listen. It hits me in a weird
I
place.
got you. Okay.
But it is funny after the fact.
Mine is tied to a very specific event that brings me the most joy.
Let's circle back on it after the email.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I need to hear the story.
You will.
We'll
We'll
get
do
it.
that.
Totally.
The thing that the other point my brain was coming up with is that, like, on the subject of mechanics, as a person who has tried to play games, and I've only read Polaris. The barrier to entry of learning mechanics can be so hard, and if we're talking about shame, like, I'm trying to put together a game right now, and I don't think I know all the rules, and there's this level of, like, man, if I feel as insecure as I do running a game that that I've never run before, I can't imagine because I've done it, trying to be in a space where it feels like everyone else knows more than you, everyone else gets more than you, and you're looking at tables and they don't look like words. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, and like, I don't think a lot of people after a certain age do things they're bad at anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Because,
So
like,
yeah.
I mean, once again, as a society, we punish people for trying new things
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And especially if you, like, have, it's the whole meme, right? Of being a gifted kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go out, but, like, you fail the first time. Like, if you aren't immediately good at it, you're just like, obviously, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Because work?
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Also, God forbid you are wrong or you have bad information and you change your opinion based on that information and then have to say it to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, what do you mean? You said this last week. I'm like, yeah, and things have changed. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a growing individual who learns from my mistakes.
Yeah. Or the fact that, like, people will do that thing. Like, I mean, obviously, a lot of everything that I say comes from, like, just the history of. But like, people will be like, oh, remember that time 7 years ago when you made an absolute ass of yourself?
Me at
And it's
4
like,
a.m.
okay, thanks.
every
Yes,
time.
every time I take a shower. Thank you.
Yeah.
Needed that reminder that I'm not the only one.
I got a new one last weekend.
I get a new one every day. It's like, oh, great, this is going to haunt me for
Right.
literally the rest of my
Yeah.
life.
It's wild. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a thing as adults, like, you're like supposed to be who you are. This is who you are now. Like, doing new things and trying things. It's like, like, it blows people's minds. And I think, honestly, a lot of people, at least in our society here in the US, like, they just don't try new things. Like, I talk to teachers are this, like, very interesting subset of adults that I interact with. Basically, the only other adults I interact with that are not gamers. And they are, you'd think that they were constantly out learning things and doing things. And teachers become a teacher and they know their things. And then they just, like, stare at me sometimes where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go try this thing because I do weird new things all the time. And they're just like, you're so interesting.
You're very whimsical.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they mean it as, like, they're just, like, completely baffled. Like, why would you do a thing that, like,
But you have the thing that you know.
yeah, but you already do this thing.
Aren't
Yeah,
you
I can do this thing too. Oh, you can, and I do this thing. Oh, and I do this thing too. And then I'm gonna build this thing in my yard this weekend. Oh, you can build a thing. And they're just like, it's like there's a thing called YouTube, and it can teach you literally anything.
Oh my god, the school of YouTube is the best thing
It's
ever.
anything.
And people just don't.
It's everybody's dad and uncle now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. I mean, like, learning how to clean out my stove burner
Yeah.
was revolutionary, and literally some old dude on YouTube
Yeah.
taught me how to do it. Because, like, I grew up with electric burners. What am I supposed to learn how to clean out the little... I didn't even know they could get clogged.
Yeah.
And suddenly everything, like, my cooking works better, and I'm like, I'm a magician! And some old man on YouTube taught me how to do it!
Yeah.
I'm Angela Lansbury from Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
I'm kind of hoping that, like, that helps, like, future, like, our generation and those that follow us to be more open-minded about learning new things, since we have access to learning every weird thing on the internet. Like, I learned how to turn foam workout mats into armor by people on the internet. Like, weird-ass, strange skills. You can learn literally everything. I have a
I
plan.
learned how to carve and dye leather.
Yeah. See, I feel like access to this knowledge in a way that isn't judgmental, because the person on YouTube can't judge you. It's not like you had to go down to, like, a crafting class with some old lady, like, glaring at you as you tried to do ceramics for the first time and your little statue blows up and then you, like, never want to go back again. Like, it's amazing.
Or just being able to engage in learning a new skill in a non-judgmental way.
Yeah.
That I could go learn how to do something that is stereotypically not an older white dude's game. Like, whatever it
I would
is.
love to see you learn to double dutch.
Right. Not a coordination skill I have. But
Listen, I was trying to think of anything.
Sure.
That's where we
I
landed.
appreciate
I
that.
still don't understand how people do it.
It's just a constant movement, not like a...
I mean, I know, but, like, I don't know.
I also haven't jumped rope since
Like-
I got boobs, so...
like I was in elementary school and like failing at it every day was like a whole like crucible of shame.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
But I'm hoping that will like make future generations like
Yeah.
more ready to try new things, and I don't know. That's my hope.
I'm gonna say, sorry,
no, go ahead.
going back to the email. I did it. It's just like, plenty of people are terrified at the mere thought of doing anything that I do because, again, I'm a very whimsical person.
Whimsical.
Um,
God, you're so whimsical.
whimsical.
Our new code word. Aren't they whimsical?
It's just it's like when someone's like, "That's a very brave top you're wearing."
Yeah.
You're like, "Okay, first of all,
Bless your heart.
you could have said
Whimsical.
anything else." But yeah, the like, if the question, if we had people who are terrified of the mere thought of RPGs, absolutely. Is the question then like, are you, if you want to bring people into a hobby that you love because you love it and you want to share a thing you love with other people, I mean, then yeah, then like you can work on things to, like we've talked about, making a space that feels safe without shame, making the mechanics easier to figure out. Not everyone has to play TTRPGs.
Yeah.
In fact, if you've ever done a thing like an activity where not everyone wants to be there, that person makes everything really bad for everyone else.
That's me in karaoke.
So,
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, this is actual torture. And Joey's like on like his 12th harmonic, like just rocking it, and I'm just like, please let
Karaoke
me.
in Los Angeles is like,
So scary. I don't like
it's
it.
killed all my joy in it.
Stressful.
I don't understand why people do it. And then a friend was like, people sing, I was like, but you go to karaoke so that you sing songs that everyone likes. And I was like, that
Oh
has
no,
never
I've been
occurred to
doing
me.
it wrong.
I just don't
I
do
have
it.
only
only
sung
know-
songs I like, and
I
fuck
only
all
know all
them.
the words to 2 songs, and one of them is like light metal.
I just don't want to look bad.
Yeah. See, this is it. Yeah. I am the person in this email who doesn't want to look bad in a TTRPG, except move it to a badly lit bar with like a little speaker and a microphone. Like,
Yeah.
not,
And then people here like are trying to get signed,
yeah.
Oh, there's also that, yeah.
and it's like there is no amount of alcohol in the world that can convince me to like get up on that stage now.
No.
I went out to karaoke like with a friend of mine, and I had known them for years. And it was their birthday, and it was a whole thing. And then they got up there, and I was like, they're like, oh yeah, did I never tell you that I trained as an opera singer? And I was like, no. And also, I'm just gonna pretend I don't hear them when they call my name now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I can.
LA karaoke is the worst. It is so stressful. It's like American Idol, except you just showed up by accident. Like you stumbled on the stage, and like everyone's like, "What are you doing here?" Nothing. I tried to find the bar, and I gave them my name, and I wanted a margarita, not a song. I just, what am I doing
I
here?
just need more. I just wanted a margarita. I just wanted extra salt.
Yeah, I just wanted another margarita.
Yeah.
But yeah. You know what you might want to try though? Just try story games. Try stuff like The Quiet Year. You kind of create a story with those, but nobody needs to act things out. You were just contributing ideas, and because that's sort of a kind of like a gateway game, I guess, where you start to creating a story. It's very low pressure. All they have to do is kind of come up with ideas as a group, and it's just like a really great way to kind of introduce the idea of what it is. And then if they like it, then you can find other games that way and kind of build them into, hey, do you want to try an actual RPG sometime? And there's a lot of really just amazing games that so many great story games.
That's a whole second email at that point.
Yeah.
How
I've
do you
also
get them
had good luck with my theory of like applying role-playing skills to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like we sit down to play Monopoly, and I am playing somebody, right? Like
the only way I want to play
Mr.
Monopoly is LARP.
yeah, 100%. Like it, no matter what game or like if they're a board gamer, you sit down and then suddenly you're like, I am a character now
We're
in
getting
this
very
world,
close
and
to
I'm
my
playing
pet
it.
rant.
Okay, but 1 second. Just hear me out. That if we did a one shot
I was just
with Monopoly, but like everybody chooses their character. Like you're playing Mr. Moneybags, I am playing like a Gilded Age romance novel hero coming up, like pulling himself up by his bootstraps or whatever with a tortured past.
I am
like-
1,000% only play Monopoly with you guys if I get to be an anarcho-communist.
Okay.
And I will blow up
Sure.
the bank. I
Okay.
don't know how yet, but I
Amazing.
will blow up the bank.
I'll pull out my Ventru, like power, like girl boss businesswoman. Like,
Crazy hack of Vampire the Masquerade we've built, actually.
But
Yes.
but if you start doing that at a table with people that you kind of want to introduce to the hobby, you show them an example of the games you like to play, and it trickles in.
And Monopoly is much less likely to devolve into fisticuffs at the end of it.
Are you
Whoa.
sure?
I don't know how you've been playing Monopoly, but not the way some of my friends play.
Ever had a game of Monopoly that ended civilly?
I don't think I've ever gotten to the end of a game of Monopoly.
I
honestly.
mean,
That's why
If
like,
you
the
actually
table
play,
flip
if you
skills
play
came
the
early.
rules as written, it ends.
Oh, okay.
but not
People
well.
have come up with so many additions to the game that extend its life into crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened with me then.
I can't write games. I'm not going to write a game about Monopoly and then have it be a LARP as well. It would be very fun.
That would be fun.
That would be very fun.
We should do this though. This is not a bad idea. I like this
I'll
idea
do it.
quite a lot.
Can we please do a VTM hack of Monopoly?
Yes.
It's like
100%.
made for it. Yeah.
It
It's
is.
all been true.
It's oops, all fit. Yeah. I will say, it sounds like. I mean, reading tone into words is difficult, but it does sound like some of your absolutely notters are attempting to shame you, Jorn, and that's no. Refuse to be shamed. refuse their shame and revel in it. But
Be
Some of-
whimsical, damn it.
but some of these
Could
vague
never. Okay.
but some of these vague sweeping reasons are also just them trying to be polite because they're your friend.
Yeah. And it's okay to accept that. Like they may just really think it's ridiculous and try and be like, no, I'm just not comfortable with that, and that's fine. People think we're ridiculous, and that's okay.
And if you want a little validity in if you do feel like someone's shaming you, first of all, fuck them. Second of all, if it's okay, I'm being shamed and I need to kind of defend my case, RPGs are the ideal way to experience when people go to Europe to find themselves. I don't know what they do in Europe to find themselves. Do they go to America? I don't know.
No.
Anymore.
Recolonize Europe?
Yeah. When you go to Europe to find yourself after college or whatever is the stereotype, you're not going because you're hidden in Europe. You're going to answer to be confronted with problems that you wouldn't have been confronted with wherever you were living at the time. And RPGs are a really safe way to engage in that. And so if you want to build team building, if you want to build team building, decision making, empathy, if you have an adult in your life who's I just don't understand why you're playing all these little games, you can be well, I'm working on skills and I'm putting on my heckin' resume, so fuck you.
There are some very good resume additions based on TTRPG.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Not
God,
the least of
time
which is
management.
scheduling.
That you can absolutely write up your experience with role playing games
Yeah.
as so many corporate buzzwords.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling this up right now because this just came up on one of the Discord servers that I'm in. It was I'm finding it because it was so good. I was oh, if I was in corporate America, I would be using this.
100%.
If you're being
okay.
shamed, it's still helpful.
Met with peers met with peers for twice monthly creativity and conflict resolution exercises.
Twice a month. That's amazing scheduling.
I know, right? Gained necessary experience for character and skill development. Learned to quickly assess situations and collaborate to find the best practical solutions. And that I think is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Actually, like collaborative problem solving.
That is a TTRPG in a nutshell. So yeah, no one should be shaming you. So if one of your absolute honors is being I could never do that, you're well, fuck you. I'm better at compromise than you.
Seriously.
Probably not the way you should say that. but
Or
yeah.
turn it around and go, yeah, you're right. You could never.
You could never.
You never.
This is.
I love that.
I'm sorry. I thought this might be for you, but
Yeah.
you're right.
You know what?
It's just not a skill set
for
you'll
you.
get. Yeah.
You don't have to understand it.
It's okay. It's okay. I get it. Like, you know, it was a long shot at the start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should also like one you could do there like independently read and mastered technical manuals and implemented like there's so many things you could do.
That would be a lie on my part. So.
I mean, did you run the game? Did it work? Yes. Okay. There you go. All right. Let's go to mailbag number 2. That was a fun discussion. I don't know if we answered the question.
We
but-
talked
We talked
a
about
galaxy around that email.
The question was,
But-
have you met people who are scared of RPGs?
Yeah, we have. And
Yeah.
we gave a few suggestions and like gave why they might be and talked about society and we're whimsical. So it's going to be the thing all night. Sorry, everyone.
Feels mean.
It does, but it's like such a nice thing. Like
we're
if-
reclaiming whimsy in this house.
I know. I mean, if someone came up to me like, "Oh, you're so whimsical," like I would be like, "Oh, thank you. Like that's great." But like just the way they threw it at you, like
I've never been
you're so whimsical here. I'm like, oh, okay.
Are you gonna give me the
Story
cut
later, 'cause
direct
it's
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, is there
I just-
another slur you could use?
There probably was.
Oh,
That's not-
come on.
Yeah, no. Just don't ask that question. Okay.
Like there's always another slur.
Yeah.
There's always a bigger slur.
Yes. Mailbag number 2. Who would like to read this very short email?
Is it yes.
You got sniped.
That's fine. I don't.
The next one is like 4 pages long.
You and I will share it, Dave.
I never look until we get there.
Yeah.
Kim, you said very short. I was like, hell yeah.
Well,
Hello?
he's from Hoodoo, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Hello, Happy Jacks. Listening to season 35, episode 3, and hearing y'all talk about stars and wishes, a thing in games I adore. Yes, wishes should never be criticisms. However, I disagree that they should only be about your character. Like, if you want to see more of other players' characters interact based on previously set up stuff, presumably. There we go. Like, my wishes, I'd really like to see more of Stevie and Janice's budding romance. That's
I'm sorry, my first thought was make them kiss.
Yes.
that seems perfectly acceptable to me. It's also like a backup star in a way. I really loved your scenes, and I wanted to see where that goes for you. I don't know. What do y'all think? Jolene. P.S. Also, never forget the GM should also give their stars and wishes.
Very true.
I have thoughts on this.
I
Surprisingly.
feel like that's still about the characters.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you're not saying I'd love to see more of Stevie and Janice's budding romance in real life. Please kiss right now, friends. Like, you're still talking about the characters. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think the
What about your character?
Yeah, I was about to say I think the
Oh,
your
got it. Okay.
That's the key there. Yeah.
Apparently I'm dying. So.
Don't die. You know what? That's not allowed.
Keep it together.
Yeah. All right. That's
Unacceptable behavior.
true. That's true. Like,
This is a whimsy table, not a dying table.
I feel like
Dying stuff.
I feel like we should. Then I agree with that. Like, there was like, I forget exactly the thing, but there's definitely situations where it's possible to give like stars or wishes about someone else's character in a way that's not a star. It's more of a criticism. Like, it's like, I really wish you'd really played that out differently. It's like, that's not a wish.
No. You can't go back.
Yeah.
You can ask for more,
Yes.
but you can't be like, give back what you did.
No, yeah.
That's not.
I wish
not
you had
what
done
it
that
is.
differently. It's
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
weird thing to.
I really
That's
wish you'd been a better player at the table.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish you were
Like,
less
I
That's horrible.
wish you'd shut up.
yeah.
I think that was what we were trying to get to with the advice about it being like
I
about
really wish I never have to play with you again. For fuck's sake.
yeah, definitely don't do stars and wishes like that.
Why did you mind your own business?
Oh my god.
This is a thing I.
It's a list of
Like,
terrible
Monopoly.
stars in which
It's just the most toxic ever. It's just definitely how Monopoly's
really
gonna end.
This is how Monopoly ends.
I wish you all play better because I won totally.
Us quietly staring at each other doing the most passive aggressive stars and wishes.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
wish
the
I
story.
wasn't the only one at this table who knew how to count.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish we had a better banker.
I wish I knew the rules to Monopoly.
That's me. Oh no, not like I have thoughts on this, and part of it is that in almost every game I play, it always sort of ends with a stars and wishes, roses and thorns, highs and lows, or whatever, what have you. Your decomp. And I do feel like there's a very valid, and I recently just switched my policy to we're gonna do stars and wishes, because every time I've sat in a one where it's like highs and lows, everyone's like, my high was I had a good time at the table, and or you know, everyone does give a genuine high, and then they're like, my low was,
The deep breath.
I wish that I had had more time to do so, and it's like very disingenuous because it doesn't like because what you don't want to say because. At least for me, I've always felt like very shamed to give a criticism at the table because my GM's working hard. I get it. And I don't want them to be upset about something they couldn't control, felt like they couldn't control, or whatever extenuating circumstances made it happen. So I recently switched to Stars and Wishes. But I think that the purpose of Stars and Wishes and highs and lows and all of these decomps is to get a temperature of the table. And if you're not going to acknowledge that and take like then why even ask in the first place? So I feel like it's weird to put a limiter on wishes. Also, I've always viewed wishes as what I would like to do next in the game, not what I wish had happened or what I wish. So it's like what I love is someone come up with a pithy 3-item version: high, low, wish.
I don't want lows though. Like
I
feel like every time I've engaged in a TTRPG that has any of those systems, it is like when you went up to somebody you kind of knew in high school and asked them to sign your yearbook. And it's like you've been a great friend. Have a great summer. Meh. Like, it is the most plastered on BS I've ever heard come out of people. And I used to work in politics. So, like...
Wow, that's cool.
It is never great or useful. I've never heard useful criticism come out during those.
I would say...
Or, not just criticism, useful
lows
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've never used highs and lows, and I can't imagine actually using lows ever in a way that was constructive and not just fodder for, like, 7 years from now. I mean, like, being like, wow, I really
your
fucked
7 a.m.
up.
shower thought.
Yeah, like... But like in our Astral Circus games, we're doing stars, wishes, and a thing I can't remember the name of right now that is specifically about you. So, I know, it's like...
Grow and glow is the other one I've heard. Where I'm like,
But like you give a star to someone because there is a thing that you really liked. You have a wish that you want to see come up later. And then you have to, Jason is making us all give ourselves, like, here's a thing I think I did well in this game. Which is like,
cute.
why are you doing this to me? I'm being attacked.
Yourself, bitch.
But like, we all have endeavored, which is also great and horrifying, that to be very specific in each of them. Because I think that's the thing. It's not about necessarily, to me, it is not necessarily about specifically just your character. It is about specificity.
Yeah. I think that's important.
And sometimes your wishes can, like, kind of come from a place of, like, man, I wish things had gone differently here, but you can't couch it that way because you need to set those guide rails ahead of time. That it is not about, like, none of us have a time machine that I know about because Brandon Lee has still...
Which I have a very complex plan.
But, so, like, wishes have to be future facing. Like, wishes have to be what you want to see next time or in future sessions in general or for the campaign. They cannot be about changing the past.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is one of the things I really struggled with because when I was designing Starscape, there was all these different versions of this that I wanted built into the mechanics. I wanted it to be something that was not like optional. Like if people decided to cut it out, then that was their choice. But I wanted there to be some sort of decompression that was part of the actual game itself.
Did I do stars?
And
I can't remember.
no. But so what I ended up sticking with was personal directives. So, which is where you basically set a goal for yourself next session. You can or you don't have to, but you can tell people or you're not. And then at the end of the session, you see whether everyone met their goals or not. It's not exactly the same as Stars and Wishes because the versions of that I played with, like, I think had that problem. Even if you say, especially when you're playing at like a con table, like, hey, Stars and Wishes, like, I feel like it's one of those like it's become folk knowledge where it means a little bit of a different thing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if different people all sit down and describe what are stars and wishes, I think people would have slightly different things. Like stars, to me, like everyone gives someone else a star. I would never think of like I should probably think of it as a gold star sticker because I'm a kindergarten teacher, but it just never occurred to me to think of it that way until you just described it right now. So it's like, oh, so for me, I've always given stars that were kind of just like a general thing. Like I really liked this scene. So it was never two-way person. I mean, sometimes it was, but it was usually like a moment that I really loved. And then a wish is always something I would want more of. Like if you could order a second helping of one part of the game, what would it be? That was how it was described to me originally. So that's kind of always been my framework for it.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I've never heard it described that way.
Yeah.
Neither have I.
Wow. Sorry. First of all, now the wow, you should always everyone should all know. Sorry, I'm so stressed now. And as soon as I get it out of my mouth, you'll understand why I'm stressed. Holy shit, everyone should know what the parameters of your safety tools are.
Yes.
Holy shit, if you don't know what the X card does and then someone uses the X card, you're like, that's a fun little symbol they keep holding up. That's a problem. Sorry.
Let me keep going.
Well, I feel like it's a little easier to have that happen with stars and wishes because it's kind of still the same thing.
For sure.
It's like okay, if you're playing softball or baseball, the idea is the same for most of it. Like if like Pooja has a different idea of what stars and wishes are, and I do. If we're both sitting in good faith, we're gonna have about the same outcome we probably would have.
For sure.
It's definitely not the same as someone not knowing what an X card is.
No, for sure. But stars and wishes are decomps decomps are safety tools.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
It gets you out of the headspace of playing a game. It gets you it gives you a chance to, if you have conflict with a person, look at that person and go, we are actually not in conflict, we are friends again.
Mm-hmm.
Like it closes the magic circle. That is an immersive theater term. But like and so like the idea that it's like, actually we all don't know what stars and wishes all mean scares me a lot.
Well, this is a thing, right? Like that. Yes, for some people and at some tables, stars or wishes could be just like you need to center that on your character.
Mm-hmm.
And then at other tables, it can be like for the table as a whole or whatever, or like make them kiss, please. Like all of that stuff. But it comes back to in your session 0 when you say like I would like to do stars and wishes for this campaign or for these however many sessions or whatever it is. And here's what that means to me.
Mm-hmm.
And get on the same page to start with, because it's not that either of us, like Kimmy and I having slightly different interpretations of that, neither of them is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It is just that what's important is that when we're coming into it, that we each know. Because it can cause a set of conflict later on down the road, where if, like, I think stars should always be specific and like, about a choice that someone has made actively. Mm-hmm. And Kimmy thinks stars should be about a moment in the game that we all participated in. And I'm just going to be like, man, you're just doing whatever. And like that can be a source of conflict later.
Mm-hmm.
Like a burr in your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've kind of been having thoughts along this line of, as safety tools have gotten more complicated, I fear that it's going to lead to more of them being accidentally misused.
Yeah.
Or just not understood and discarded because they're too complicated. Because anytime you make it, like, if somebody's like, cool, what do you do when you see a stop sign? That's a pretty simple rule. But people still fuck it up. But it's still a thing. Like, we all understand we're supposed to stop, look around, continue our drive.
I understand that.
Right. I'm not saying it happens every time, but
Sometimes
that's the
California.
generally accepted what you're supposed to do. But if you pull up for your first time and you've never been briefed on how a traffic circle works, oh God!
Oh
What
God.
am I supposed to? People keep going. I'm supposed
It's a
to. Hey, kids, it's
roundabout.
Big Ben. You know, like just.
I've been stuck on
Oh
it
my
for
God.
35 years.
I
I had to Uber Eats food.
They had to throw it into my car with the window down.
that legit is how I learned. That is exactly what happened
Yeah.
to me. I had no idea how a roundabout functioned. I was a new driver. My friend and I were going to go see. I think we were gonna go see No Doubt in Orange County or something. And I was early high school, and it was just oh my God. I guess I wasn't early high school because I was driving, but I don't know. It was just one of those things. I can't remember what part of life it was, but I remember driving and going, oh God, it's round. Where do I go?
Keeps
God.
going.
Well, and not knowing when to jump in. It was the biggest thing. I just sat there for a while
And also, there's only 2 of them in Southern California.
I live next to one, so
Exactly. If you
yeah,
go to
they're
IKEA.
everywhere.
IKEAs have them now.
That now it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the new IKEA has one, but the old IKEA didn't. And then there's one in Long Beach, and there's one out by you, and it's I think there's
More.
than
There's got to be more
No,
than
there's-
that.
I mean, yes,
There's a
but
bunch in Orange County. Orange County has a bunch of them.
Yeah, but Orange
Oh.
County is a place we don't talk about. Sorry.
Orange County has set them up
It's separate.
specifically as traps so that people cannot go in tender or leave.
Orange County deserves traffic circles.
All
They're
right.
actually much more efficient than stoplights.
Okay, well, let's.
In terms of traffic flow reasons.
You're so
engineering-wise.
reasonable right now. But it's not a reasonable table, it's a whimsy table.
Oh no!
Oh no.
So
I
much
ventured far too
whimsy.
into real logic.
Yeah.
I have that.
Painting.
Yeah, I have that worry with. There's another thing too that I worry with safety tools, and I run into this a lot. Is it's becoming a thing where there's fads of safety tools, where I think a lot of safety tools are like safety tools are great, and I think some of them can be improved upon. It seems sometimes now that people are making up new safety tools to say that they made up a new safety tool,
Sure.
even if I mean, it's great. If you have a reason you want something different, that's great. But then there's the shift of oh, you're not using the newest safety tool. Your table must not be safe. And I'm like, well,
So sorry.
no, my me and my table, we still use our lines and veils document. It's got a gradient, so there's levels of safety. There's lots of different things. And
It's
people
very
can,
much it's a performative, I am the most safe.
yeah. And it's I don't know. It's frustrating because it's I love people innovating new things to make people safe. I think that's great. If something works amazingly for your table, you should use that. If your table is using a safety tool that is working for them, great. You shouldn't feel pressured or be seen as less than for not switching to something new. But if your safety tools aren't working, try something new. It should be a buffet of safety tools. You take the things that are good for you. If you're allergic to that thing, it's got nuts in it, don't take that thing. You probably shouldn't be eating at the buffet if you're allergic to nuts. But you get the idea. It's a bad metaphor, but whatever. And some of us just like dessert and only take dessert. Whatever it is.
And you can go back as many times as you want.
And if you didn't like something, don't get it again. When you go back, get a different thing. Try again. I don't know.
There's a scene from Eurotrip, and I'm pretty
God.
sure
I
everyone
was thinking about this
who
movie
has
the other day.
seen-
How is this happening?
Everyone who's seen this movie
Scotty doesn't know.
knows this moment where one of the characters is at a sex club, because everything you know about TTRPGs you can also apply to BDSM. He's at a sex club, and he's agreed to engage in a scene, and he gets a safe word, and he puts it in his pocket without looking at it. And he finds out, I'm spoiling a 20-something-year-old movie. He pulls it out at one point, and realizes it's a very long German word. And the joke is he cannot pronounce the long German word to make the scene stop happening, which, as an adult, it's funny as a kid. As an adult, I'm like, ooh, this makes me annoyed now.
Eurotrip doesn't actually work now. Just FYI.
Yeah, don't rewatch that. Anyway, the point is that you do not want to have happen to you in any context. But for Happy Jacks, you don't want to have that happen at your table where you get the coolest, newest safety tool that is red light that is a stoplight thing, but also we use secret words and hand symbols in case you go nonverbal. Love that. Safety tools to handle if you are nonverbal. Happy Jacks has a button we like, and I like pressing it before everything. But
If
Checking
it's-
to make sure your technology is working is always a plus.
yes. So like, yes, extend your safety tool to accommodate people who need different accommodations. But like, yeah, if you're overworking it, the question becomes like, maybe you might have overthought your scene a little.
And that's the thing, like, it has to be something that works for your whole table. And once again, like, this comes back to, like, explaining expectations, and it doesn't have to be, like, dry GM as teacher in classroom situation. Like, it can just be, like, hey, we're doing this, and this is what, and, like, we're gonna do stars, wishes, and
Third thing.
third thing that literally I just
Spotlight,
cannot.
compliment yourself.
Third thing, and I am specifically targeting you. You are going to also be targeting you. Like that. It can, and this is what I think that means.
Mhm. Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And like then have a conversation. If somebody else is like, "Wow, that's not what I thought that meant. This is what I thought that meant." You can have that conversation fully. But like a lot of people, especially if you were like introducing these tools to the table for the first time, people are going to be like, "Cool, yes, I love that you gave me an explanation, and we can just move on because we're all adults here."
Yeah.
Or if they're kids, more power to you.
I feel like obligated now to create a safety tool based on food. Like your desserts, your second helpings, and your broccoli. I don't know.
Your 11Cs.
Your 11. There you go.
Second breakfast.
Hobbit turn.
I will staunchly be like, and star and wish and whatever sparkle is what the pocket dragon says.
Just
way-
kidding.
Oh, I think that's what it is. It's
Sparkles?
stars, wish, and sparkles.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's not me.
That like I think the idea of safety tools at whatever table you're going to sit down and play at,
Mhm.
it's sit down with your people
Mhm.
and have a conversation like you're sitting down with your group of friends to decide where you're all going to go get dinner.
Except have it take less
Hopefully
time.
more successfully.
Right, but at the end of the day, you come to a conclusion and you all go eat. Right?
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
And then at the end,
Have you ever
DoorDash.
failed at it?
Sometimes you just DoorDash.
Pooja and I have actually. We just sort of like hanging out. We're like, I don't know. And I think we did end up DoorDash like a bunch of different places because we couldn't decide.
oh my god.
Places for a
Sometimes
game.
you just can't. You just
You
can't.
still ate something.
We did.
Yes.
We,
And
yeah,
the
we,
solution you came to was we're just going to order our own food. The rest of you can all fuck off. And that's a valid safety tool to protect yourself.
I'm sorry. We're laughing at
Sorry.
a very specific
Yes.
inside incident, and it was.
Someone in chat actually brought up something that I also was thinking about when I was like, I don't love stars, wishes, and highs and lows or whatever. The keeping safety tools anonymous. In that, like, as we were talking in the previous thing about like creating a safe space for people to feel like they can be wrong, you should also be able to have a safe space to feel like you are able to say things without people getting upset. And that's why the stars and wishes thing can sometimes be hard. It's because like, oh, I'm supposed to give my star to somebody else. I have a LARP that does nods at the end of every game, where you give a nod to somebody else, and boy, does it feel kind of gross when you don't get a nod. And it becomes this thing where it's like, oh, everyone gave their star to everyone else, and no one gave one to me. Okay, I was a bad role player today, and I'm gonna think about this at 2 a.m. for the rest of my life. And it's like, so sometimes I find that like highlight the all of these tools are to highlight, to ask, anticipate, and to low light. In that world, it's like, that's the other thing I don't love about the stars and wishes thing, is that like, I love the moment afterwards to be able to say like, oh, and I had this really fun thing that we did, and I want to make sure everyone feels good. But when it becomes an obligation, it starts to feel like, man, I had a bad day. I woke up from a nap on the wrong side of the bed, and then I had to play 3 hours of a game where I couldn't roll over a 2. What was my highlight? I don't know. I played a lot of Sudoku while everyone else got to do cool things. Like,
Aw.
that's hard. Like, it's hard to get yourself out of that space to do. Obviously, that's a very, very, like, insane version of it.
But I think, like, the thing about Stars and Wishes, too, is, like, normalizes that some sessions people have more spotlight than other people. That it's not you were a bad role player this time. It was that, like, other people had their spotlight moments this time, and we can acknowledge that, and then next time you could have your spotlight moment. Or to specifically, like, as a tool to get out of a space where, like, dear fucking god, I couldn't roll over a 2 this entire session, or, like, everything I did failed, or we defeated like, we were in a bunch of encounters, or, like, and we defeated every single one of them before I got my turn because I kept rolling low initiative, or, like, whatever that happens to be.
I always a really high initiative and then I can't hit anything, which is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, Pentacles, for whatever reason, I had large dice pools. I couldn't roll more than 2 or 3 dice together. And they weren't high enough for me to, like split around where, like, I could, like, widen them and go sooner. I would be like, cool, I'm going on 2 every time. But it's not the point. The point is that, like, you're in a situation where, like, yes, it's easy to continue to engage in that spiral behavior, except Stars and Wishes, like, yeah, it does force you to come up. Stars, Wishes, and Sparkles, thank you, Dragon Pub, forces you to come up with something that isn't. And no, it doesn't always feel good to have to do it, but, like, suck it up, Buttercup, you agreed to it?
Well, and it's part of, like, the community ritual.
Yes.
It is part of, like, so one of the things in my classroom, everybody comes in, we have morning meeting at the beginning of the day. Every student is greeted at least by one other person, if not, depending on what greeting we do, because we do silly greetings, and we do nice greetings, and we do handshakes. We teach, if you've ever tried to teach a bunch of kindergartners to handshake, it is the cutest thing in the world. And they finally do get it right, like, halfway through the year. But they keep using the wrong hand, or they try and, like, it's just very cute. They can't do it to save their lives. And then it's just adorable. By the end of the year, they look like little official kids, and they're just handshaking in the morning sometimes. And then we have, like, a dance greeting where you have to walk up and do a dance move, and the person says good morning, and the other kid does a dance move, the same dance move, and copies them and says good morning back. And there's mornings where kids show up, and they're tired, or they're in a bad mood, or whatever. And it's still, like, everybody gets it. You know, if you really are having a bad morning, you can wait, and then they can greet me at the end if they want. That almost never happens, even if kids are kind of in a bad mood and they just, like, jump up in the air or do a little turn or something, or whatever their greeting is. And there's something about ritual that is comforting, even when you're in a bad mood, even when you're having a bad time. And as an adult, I think we sometimes stubbornly grab onto and hold on to our bad mood more than little kids do. Like, little kids are like, they can, like, on the dime, they just, oh, I'm the happiest person in the world now. You're like, you were screaming 2 seconds ago. Not from my real life experience, I promise. So I think there is comfort in ritual and knowing at the end of the game that's going to be there. And even if it's not great every time, there's part of that, like, just kind of, like, just acknowledging that there were good moments and things you want more of sometimes. And it's hard sometimes to adults. And I think that's one of the things we need to realize, too, is, like, there is no safety tool that will always fix everything. Like, no matter what, and even a combination of safety tools are not going to hit every single situation. When you have human beings that are complex and in a complex world and bringing all their complexities to the table and trying to ignore their baggage while they're playing these very complex characters who they've made up with more complexities, like, there's just going to be times where no matter what happens, you feel like crap at the end of a game and aren't just like, can't think of any stars. Like, I sat here and I love my friends and I love this game and I fucking hate today and I don't want to say anything nice. And it's like, okay. And those are moments where sometimes that's like an open door moment. You're like, you know what? I just have to go. I really appreciate you all. I'm going to head out or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And I know we don't always have those options with streams and stuff, but, like, I think that's also something we have to kind of accept at the table. And I feel like that's another thing about kind of, especially like the indie scene right now, is everybody feels like there's got to be a safety tool for every situation. And there can't be. The humans are too complex. The games we're playing are too complex. Emotions are too complex. They're just, you have the ones that fit well, the things that cover as many things as you possibly can, and then you have to have some just acceptance of there's going to be human emotions that don't fall within the things that these safety tools protect from. I don't know.
I
Or
thought
the
of
things like
uncharitable
come out of left field. Like, you're not always going to be able to protect yourself from every negative emotion.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Sorry, that's one of the like in prepping for a game right now. It's like I'm asking people to do lines and veils, and it's so funny because I just had to do it myself, and I was filling out my lines and veils and went like, man, all these are green for me because I don't have none of the things that are coming up are things that I that bother me, and then I thought about it, but like it's always so important to me that I add a little note at the end, which is every once in a while something sets me off because my ability to regulate myself goes down if I've had a stressful day or whatever. And so like one of my big triggers, I don't like men yelling. And it will, and I encounter it a lot in my daily life, so it's fine and I can handle it most of the time. But like if I've had a bad day and something happens, I'm like, ah, fuck. And it'll ruin my game or whatever, and it happens so rarely. That's when an X card comes in. But like also if we're in a stream or whatever, it's like I can regulate myself, I'll figure it out. Like having safety tools that you never know what's gonna set you off one day.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have never had a reaction to something before, you just don't know. And I think one of the I'm gonna say something spicy. I think that especially in the indie game scene, because we are sensitive people, we're trying to make the world that we want to see, we do want to keep people as safe as possible, and we put a lot of emphasis on doing everything right when we start rather than being allowed to make the mistake and recover afterwards. And all of the really bad, we have a show where people send us TTRPG horror stories. And every horror story that I've seen from like almost every horror story I've seen from Happy Jacks, every horror story I've heard of from other networks and other things, almost all of them are not solved if they had a safety tool. They're almost universally horror stories that come from people not talking to each other as adults or giving each other space to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And so no safety tool is going to protect you from something if you aren't willing to engage with it, to engage with the other person as a human who also makes mistakes. And yeah, that is sorry. That's like my I'll get off the soapbox. But like that is my spicy take, is that like you cannot protect everyone from everything. You have to give people the grace to make a mistake.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that drives me batty is like, if I'm sitting down to play a game with a bunch of people and we've all talked, even if we're using all the current safety tools and we think everything's good, when something comes up or something happens, I despise when people assume that it was a bad faith move.
It is the
Because so
assumption of
rarely
bad
is
faith.
it that.
Yeah.
Especially, you might be 10 sessions into a game campaign with people, and then something happens and you take an action or whatever, and another player has a problem with it, and whether they use a safety tool or not, you can, if they use a safety tool, cool, you can take the pause, figure out what's up, great. But I have seen instances where people just assume that it was some kind of malicious intent to hurt somebody else at the table. And I'm like, no. Now, I'm not going to say that never happens, right? There are assholes in the world that do malicious things. But the majority of the time, try and give people that little bit of space. Okay, cool, we've had an issue. Let's pause, let's figure it out. Moving on. We're all on the same page now. Great.
Yeah.
And that's a thing, like, that I think that can often be overlooked or left aside when people are using safety tools, that, like, any of these safety tools don't exist as just... It is not stars, wishes, and then whatever you decide they are, and that is all it is, and like no one says anything outside of that. Or like it's not X card, okay, and that's the only thing, and then you get rid of everything that's come before, and then you go on for a new thing, and then you never have a discussion about it. Every single one of these safety tools comes with, and then if needed, you have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
Pause, rewind, red light, green light, like all of these safety tools, every single one of these systems has an implicit or explicit, and then you check in and you talk about it, make sure you're all good, and then move on.
Yeah.
Like that is what every single safety tool system has in common. And no, it's not comfortable for everybody, especially when you are talking about a situation in which people are actively like in a triggered moment, or like emotions are high, or any of those other things. And sometimes it's just cool, we're taking a pee/snack/drink break,
Yeah.
and coming back and then talk about it, where like you have an opportunity to decompress and get away from that particular situation. It's not always. This is a thing that I think, like, especially live streamed games don't make enough use of. Have a "we'll be right back" screen so that you can take away the pressure of, oh my god, we're live, there's no way I can. Like, it becomes a pressure valve, and in some of the horror stories that I have heard about live games have been about, like, I didn't feel comfortable saying anything because then we're live and there are all these people and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that it's like, you need to be able to reduce that side of it. And in home games as well, people need to be able to get up and, like, move on, and then come back and be able to come back as friends and, like, remember. Because it's difficult in the moment. Sometimes you just get real mad. And, you're like, fuck all of you motherfuckers. Yes, of course you did this on purpose because I'm up in my, like I'm real mad right now.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you had the opportunity to, like, decompress, then, and, like, come back to it not being right there, that, like, it can look really different.
Yeah, I know the X card is like the basic bare minimum. I honestly think the open door policy is the most important safety tool, and I honestly think it's the least used in home games, streams.
It's so
everything.
dramatic to get up and walk away from a situation.
It does, but like, I don't know. I think that just being away from the table for a second and just thinking to yourself, or just going to the bathroom, like, you don't have to, like, leave like, I need a moment. I'm using the open door policy. Hair flip, angry, walk out.
Loud.
Right.
Yeah.
Loud.
Stand up violently and announce,
Yeah.
I am using the open door policy.
Yeah.
And walk away. Like,
Yeah, no,
that's-
I mean, it's like, maybe you pretend to go to the bathroom break. Maybe you could just quietly get up and leave for a second. Like, but I think that having those moments and then coming back and triggering the extra or whatever it is, like, or like I really, or table flip. Okay.
Yeah, just flip the
Like,
table
I think
flip.
that's really important. And I think there is that extra pressure for a stream game, but I think that happens at the table too. Like, I have sat through uncomfortable moments before we ever started doing APs or streaming, before we ever started the podcast, or games at a con or things like that, where I'm like, okay, this is, okay. And, like, there's been a very few times, like, where I've actually gotten up and left. And there's usually there are times where I start having a reaction I can't hide. Like, if I start crying or something like that, and then I suddenly am mortified to stay at the table and I can't leave fast enough, stuff like that. Then those are
All
the
my emotions.
Yeah.
Never again.
yeah.
I had the reverse. I was like, no, you see how you made me uncomfortable.
No.
I wore extra runny mascara. No, but like,
wallow in my tears.
Yeah, like
Ha, ha, ha.
like washable
Drown in my
marker,
it's just Crayola. It's the like, but in fairness,
pre-drawn.
I came crying.
You show up looking
Okay,
like Chris
bro.
from Blade Runner all the time.
But like to that end, like even cycling back to like, for me, when you were like open door policy, my brain was like, yes, I leave forever, and it's like, no, open door policy means you can go to the bathroom without asking.
Yeah, it's like, or take a call, or just take a moment outside. Like, sometimes I've been in rooms that were just like too hot or too cold, and I just needed to like warm up. So I think that's really important for people to be able to just manage their own comfort level, and that's really what the open door policy is about.
Literally never occurred to me that was part of it. I was like, it's just about stocking out.
See? This is what I'm talking about with this ever-expanding cornucopia of safety tools. It leads to levels of confusion that I think can add to the danger.
Well,
Right?
I think that part of that is also, like we've talked about this before. Oh my God, we've gotten emails about my opinion on folk, like TTRPGs being folk.
Oh,
Ooh.
But this is also how folk knowledge works.
yeah.
Like, there's not like a single source for what these things are. There's not a rule. Like, I know what an X card is because I went to a con and and there was an X on the table and I was like, well, what is this? And someone explained it to me with words, and then I explained it to someone else in my words, and it was passed down. This is why we have songs that have the exact same melody that have two completely different sets of lyrics, because people remember things differently. It's like playing telephone.
And to that end, at Happy Jacks, we've talked about it before, and Pocket Dragon Pub also brings it up where it's like there's a negative connotation to the X card. Happy Jacks, we've talked about using the X card to negotiate tone. I know that Dave has talked about this before. So, like, I love that. I love it as the, like, let's redirect. Like, let's rein it in kind of moments.
We did that a couple times in our One Ring game, where it got just a little too silly, and I was like, okay, let's Tolkien it up, people.
It's okay.
Let's
You can
chill it
say
down.
when Dave got a little
Dave
too silly.
got a little silly, and then you ended up being like the most serious character. Oh my gosh.
No.
But like, you had a lot of dwarven nobility about you by the end.
Sure.
But if you're trying
I
to...
just can't help it when certain things hit me the wrong way,
I
and
know.
I can't.
I know.
Same, though. But that's the thing is, like, if you're trying to become aware of a behavior that might be something that...
It's,
Do you need to use the
I
X
hit the
card?
button. Yeah, well, that's what I was
Oh, it
tapping
didn't
it.
go off
Look,
for you.
Yeah.
I'm a show. So Timmy found these amazing little buttons that hook up to wireless plugged in little lamps, and if any of us hit the button, it lights up all the lights. There's one aimed at the GM table, and there's one that all the players can see.
Where's the GM? Oh, it's on the thing.
And it's this multicolored flashing light, and that's our X card that we use here, and it's awesome.
I started every Monster of the Week game I ran with, all right, everyone, hit the button. One, because I wanted to hit the button because it's a button, and it says
have them
call
at every
on it.
seat.
It's a big button. I just wanted to hit it.
Yeah.
So I was like, everyone get that out now, but also to guarantee it works and stuff. But like,
My 5-year-old does that too.
listen, I have bad
You're so
impulse
Like,
control.
this is a whimsy table, not a shame
The
table.
whimsy table, not a shame table.
But at the same time, I'm a person that treats the X card as the thermonuclear option.
Okay.
Right? Like, you will never see me push this button in seriousness unless you have trampled some recess of my heart, like at the center of my being, and I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Like, that's the level of seriousness I assign to the X card. And I know that's a me thing.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just, yeah.
But you're also good about kind of advocating for yourself. If someone starts talking
Sure.
about one of the things I know that is on your line,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it
You
out
can
loud.
you can totally
Okay.
say it.
Okay,
I'm not shy about it.
Dave has the thing with eyes and eyeballs. So like you're one of the, like, if we start getting there, you're going to be like, okay. And like you
It's
advocate
good.
for yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel like that it's important that there is that kind of gradient. Like some people tap it for everything. And that's great. That's fine. Like I was tapping it for tone. Like that joke is not a Tolkien enough joke for this One Ring campaign. Thank you,
Right.
Dave. Not
Yeah.
to say names, but Dave.
Sure, I admit it.
Yeah, I know. But and then some people like use it like that. I think that's part of the usefulness, and I think that's part of how, like, if people are still advocating, there needs to be some wiggle room with these tools. It's not, it's they're guidelines more than actual rule. I don't know. Like there's specific rules about them, but there's also like a range of people's comfort level with them.
And no matter what safety tools you end up picking for your game, just take 10 minutes with your players and talk about them before you start.
Yeah, on the same page.
If you leave the room, it's not that you're quitting the game, it's that you maybe just have to go to the bathroom.
No, I'm gonna take it as an insult.
Leaving
every time.
forever. You're like,
It was specifically an insult to you.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's like,
I was worried we were getting too
Anytime
close
you
friends.
tune into a stream and you see me get up from the table, it's because I know
Forever.
that
it's
you were looking.
forever.
I would have to watch your stream.
Not. Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Monopoly. The Monopoly.
And we're going to mailbag number 3 from the archive. And we've lost it. We've lost it.
I'm so sorry.
The perfect moment.
I watch your streams, Dave.
Here's the secret about me. I don't give a shit if anybody watches because I get to come and have a good time.
I know, exactly.
This is the only way I have a regular day.
Exactly. I don't see friends unless I have a schedule to see friends. Yep. This is my ADHD completely built into a building with cameras. Okay.
So mean.
Kimmy and I are basically just the same person.
We are. We almost have the same haircut now, too. If I, like, curled mine more again, like, yeah. It's wonderful. All right, Dave, go. Mailbag number 3.
Greetings, Jackers. Craig Hoodoo on the forums from the UK here.
Oh, this is from the archive 2018, by the way. Sorry.
2018. In the time before time.
Oh, wow.
After the recent emails about bad con games, I want to share my own pseudo-horror story, which has become my go-to example of how not to run a con game. Well, I'm excited. I don't remember this one off the top of my head. I say pseudo-horror story only because it can't really compare to some of the ones you've received in the past. The GM did not seem like a bad person, just a bad GM, and not from lack of experience.
I love that this has
That's a
got
differentiator. Yeah.
I love it's got so many like qualifications. Like I'm gonna tell you a scary story, but it's not that scary, but it's kind of scary.
Yeah, just
It's more, are you afraid of the dark? Not annihilation.
Yeah.
I like that spectrum. That's a good one. All right. Before I dive in, some context. During my time at uni, I was a regular attendee of the Student Nationals Convention, which brings together university gaming societies from across the country for a weekend of drinking, gaming, chaos, and some more drinking. That sounds awesome.
Right?
Yeah. The format is a little unusual. Rather than signing up for specific games, you sign up for a category, and over the weekend play 2 long-form games, 1 per day, typically lasting around 6 hours. Fascinating.
Hold on,
what a
are we-
method, yeah.
Are we gonna? Should we start a con?
No.
Oh.
Did we already?
None of us,
started
yeah,
another
there's an online one.
I am not allowed to have another hobby.
This is the same hobby.
Oh, God. You're right.
Throttle up more. More.
Oh, God.
I can't even make it to our online one.
You also play with the same group on both days, but switch GMs, which was the only reason I didn't just get up and leave.
Oh, wow.
Man. So there we were. See, I feel like that's the fear in this format. You end up with a group of people and you're like, "Eh,
Open door policy. You put
maybe
the table and leave.
these people are whimsical.
Yeah.
And you just have to leave.
Should never have taught you that word.
They're all cottagecore, like, oh, my.
Oh my God.
Cerebral.
Just show up, you
so
look
whimsical.
around, and you're like,
I'll take somebody's
sleeves are
mushroom
so
glasses and
open.
chuck them in the lake.
You have so many mushrooms on your outfit. It's just too much whimsy.
Too many mushrooms.
are those
flowers.
in
Is
your
there a
hair?
tiny gnome on your hat? I cannot accept you.
We're totally kidding, by the way. Even mushrooms or flowers, we love you. We're just teasing. We're just making fun of the whimsy people. Okay, mister, I have a flower shirt that has...
An Autobot on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The least whimsical thing I've ever seen.
I am wearing a shirt with Grimlock. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
And
Use
Hawaiian flowers.
his
Dinobot. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh god.
We broke Dave.
All right. I'm back. So there we were, the Saturday morning of the event. I ended up in the sci-fi category. Our group had found the room we'd be in for the next 2 days, and we were waiting for our GM to show up. 10 minutes go by, it's clear he's running late, which isn't too unusual given it's mostly students. 15 minutes, 20, before he finally arrives carrying a stack of hero books and character sheets.
Ooh.
He sits down, introduces himself, and promptly ignores us for the next 10 minutes as he finishes off the character sheets.
Oh.
Yeah, this feels so college.
This feels targeted, but I don't want to say at who. But,
Going
like, if it was
forward,
me.
You would never have picked Hero. Never.
Oh God, no.
Never.
I've never played
Never
it, but I'm
pick
scared
hero.
now.
You would not have.
It's
like
a
A
lot.
lot. It's a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
GURPS.
So much.
It's like
It's like Traveler.
GURPS
Worse than Traveler.
and throttled up.
How
Yeah.
is it worse than? Okay. Okay.
Because it's trying to simulate
his face.
the whole of reality.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a
Oh.
whole lot. Yeah.
I'm terrified.
with like phone book. rule
Yeah, it's
books.
gigantic. It is massive.
They're like 900
God.
pages, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's
Someone clip
yeah.
this with Hollow Darkness, my old friend. I'll do it later.
blah, 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 blah. Going forward, this would form the core of my how to run a con game mantra. Rule 0: do your fucking prep.
Oh.
I mean, you're right.
Yep.
And
Yes.
boy howdy, every single time I run a game at a con, I am a wreck before the game starts.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times I've done it now. We've been going to these conventions where I've been running multiple games for
Over a decade.
15 plus years.
Yeah.
And every single time I am in my room before the game assigned time starts, going over everything one more time.
Oh my
Making
God.
sure I have a handle on the grapple rules.
It has
Making
been
sure
15 years.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating.
It's just been
I specifically know because my son turned 14 yesterday. And when we started hanging out, I had no children.
You had
So-
none.
Wild.
Oh my god.
And
Also, happy birthday.
Oh, I will send it along. He is sleeping on his new bed in his new room tonight for the first time.
Hell yeah.
I almost made the deadline yesterday.
Aw.
Hold on, James. Prep should always be finished before con starts. What a world you live in.
I feel like before the con game starts.
Prep should be done before everyone's sitting at the table, maybe.
James, I'm with
Maybe.
you. Everything is done, but that doesn't mean that I don't go over it like a wild man every time before the game time actually kicks off.
I feel like it's like there's a real deadline and then there's your like ideal deadline.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me the one time and almost quit the hobby because I said that I would run the Alien RPG at a con
Oh man.
with the PDF of the game coming out that morning, and I was signed up to run it at 2 p.m. And I was like, yeah, it's the intro PDF. I can make that happen. I could do this. And then they were late releasing the PDF. And I was watching the time tick by, and I was like, got a table full of people signed up to play Alien RPG. I don't have the book. And I'm like reaching out like, please, can I get mine soon? Please, I really need it. And I didn't happen. So, but then it led to my revelatory play Tales from the Loop on LV426.
Yes.
Which
Did I play
was
that
great.
game? We did a Tales from the Loop game that was an alien game. I remember. Anyway,
Did we?
later.
I
We'll
don't
talk about
remember.
it later.
But yeah.
At a con. Yeah, because James is in it.
Yes.
In fairness, I couldn't tell the difference. I have not seen Alien.
The Alien RPG is not one to go in with like minimal prep either. Like I played a one shot of that
Yeah.
and got the PDF like the day before and was like,
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah. I didn't know. I was coming off the high of like, I've got a real handle on Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood, and it's another free league game. It'll be no problem.
it'll be great.
And then it arrived, and I was finally like, thank God this didn't get here in time because I was able to do this. Because I would not have been there.
Yep. All right, continuing.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to repeat myself here. Do your fucking prep. I don't believe in a no prep game. Even if you're running the most rules light improv game there is, then you can prep. Read the rules, know how to set up and explain the game.
Yeah.
Know the central mechanic, or know how the central mechanic works, excuse me. That's prep. With a game like Hero, finishing the character sheets is most definitely prep, and not something that should be done at the table unless you're giving the players a chance to customize the characters. Which he didn't.
That would have been the easiest
The
thing.
fact that you
Yeah.
came to the table and then didn't offer them any interactivity with this process is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
called outsourcing some work
Yeah.
on your like developed delegation skills if we're going back to resume builders.
Exactly.
This last con, I ran an electric state game, and I asked every player at the table, if you're cool with it, leave me your character sheet, and I will use them as NPCs when I do a stream game.
Ooh.
So now I have a whole stack of 8 NPCs just ready to go that all have motivations and stats, everything done for
Patreon
me.
rewards, though.
What?
That's Patreon rewards. Can we make the patrons make our NPCs?
If you want to. I don't know if
please.
they will
You
do
can
it.
ask
least
them.
make
I don't know about
them.
make
I'm so
them.
sorry. Hey, Patreon, would you love the opportunity to
To
maybe
do my homework
immortal?
for me.
Shh, Jimmy.
If you would love the opportunity to have a larger role to play in our streamed game,
In the wider Happy Jacks universe,
I've done that too.
consider.
Yeah.
Sometimes they report.
Consider. Maybe when the next time I run, I know when I want to run for Happy Jacks next, and it's a doozy, so it'll take some time.
Oh dear. Okay.
You know what I'm running.
Yes.
as long as I get to kick in a door.
All right.
So,
Yes.
we're 30
I love
minutes
you all.
in.
We're way more
my
than 30
gosh.
minutes
Yeah,
into this
yeah,
show.
yeah.
We need to continue, friends.
So we're 30 minutes or so in before we even get to see the characters. It's a Traveler-esque space opera setting, and there's an uprising on some of the planets, and we're all on a giant space station somewhere near the edge of the combat zone. The characters are pretty typical for the genre, and I go for the one described as an underworld smuggler, thinking I can put a Lando-type spin on him. Cool. I look down at the character sheet and find that I have around 30 individual skills. I look at the GM confused. He's busy going over something with somebody else. I look back at the sheet. I have close to 30 skills, and almost all of them are at a 1 or a 2. As far as I can tell, I am the definition of jack of all trades, master of none. Already running late, I didn't quibble. I've never played Hero before, so maybe this is okay. Seriously? Was this okay? To this day, I've never worked out whether the character was actually made viable in the system. Yeah.
Ouch.
Characters picked, we finally start to play. We're all on the station. Yay! But we don't know each other. Boo. And then, explosion! Somebody set up us the bomb. Fantastic ancient reference, thank you. Maybe this is the plot. Having to escape a dying space station as it... Nope. The station's okay, but we've all been arrested as potential suspects. Okay, maybe the plot is escaping and clearing. No, again. We're quickly cleared of suspicion by a generic NPC, and then in a surprising, only because it's stupid twist, hired as security for a top secret mission.
What?
What?
You know, I
It feels
didn't see
like-
that one coming.
It feels like when you start watching a show late at night and then you fall asleep and you wake up and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
How did we get here?
Because it's on another show, but you didn't see enough of it to realize you moved on to something else.
Or in this age of streaming, you're watching the same show, and it's like 3 episodes later, and you're like, why are they kissing now? They were about to kill each other. Oh, it's been 4 hours. Oh. Yeah. That's me every single night, honestly. Every night.
So many enemies to lovers shows on there.
So many.
Blah, 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 blah. We learned from NPC exposition the bomb was intended for a delegate on the one side of the uprising who was passing through the station on the way to peace talks. Therefore, as complete outsiders who were almost killed by the explosion, we're obviously both trustworthy and competent enough to be the new security as the original team are all dead. What the actual fuck? Which brings us to... Rule 1. Unless you have a plot-relevant reason to have the PCs already... Unless you have a plot-relevant reason to have the PCs already know one another.
Oh,
No,
unless you have a relevant reason.
Have the PC... Yes, thank
There
you.
should be a comma there.
No, it's all right. My brain just was like,
Yeah.
that's the sentence, and I read it, and I think I got it right, and I didn't. But that's fine. Seriously, we've all been there. You meet at a tavern, accept a job from a mysterious stranger despite not knowing one another, and go on an epic quest, only to be stabbed in the back by the douche who was just playing their alignment. It's a cliche that needs to die in a fire. Just have the characters know one another from the outset. Have bonds between them that explain why they trust one another and aren't waiting for the knife in the back.
Especially if you
Or
live on
are waiting for the knife in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if you live on a space station. Like, how easy, like...
Or Or it's a con game. Like,
Yeah.
just set this up because you know you're only with these people for, in this case, apparently 12 hours of gaming, which is wild. But-
Or like, it could be cool that like you're thrown in and like the reason why you're all meeting right now is because you all just got arrested together and you're in the same cell. That's actually a cool like meet cute.
I love that you're sorry, me cute. But also, you know what that does? It means that if you're behind in your prep, role play amongst yourselves and start working again.
I won't bore you with the actual plot, in part because I zoned out so much of the game that I can barely remember it. Suffice to say, it made little sense. There was the inevitable attack by separatists who just happened to compromise half the crew of the ship, the Delegate, and thus we were traveling on. Then there was a religious cult, and finally an emergent AI, which only one character could actually interact with. My jack-of-all-trades smuggler, well, of the 30-odd skills, I think I ended up using no more than 5 over the course of the session, and most of the time, that was in a supporting role. Hence, Rule 2. Give each PC opportunities to shine. Another no-brainer here, but if there isn't an opportunity for each character to be in the spotlight, then why are they there? A good con game should be filled with opportunities for each character to do their thing and have an impact on the course of the plot. This game didn't, but as the hours wore on, we learned that the GM loved the characters and their previous adventures. Their numerous previous adventures. It transpired that each of the characters was lifted directly from his long-term campaign that had been running for multiple years, and that the events of this game were the compressed highlights of that very campaign, which provides an instant and easy... Rule number 3, the con game is not your campaign.
That's so rough on
Yeah.
all levels. Cause like, did you just like, instead of make them guess, it's like, I'm going to take you people and try to make you into my real friends?
In 6
yes.
hours, I'm going to compress 10 sessions of this highly complex system so that into one game, and you are all going to play my friends who I already saw do all of these actions differently, and that's not gonna bother me when you do make different choices than my friends did.
Yikes. You know, it makes
No.
me more angry that the character sheets weren't done, though.
I know, right? How were they not done?
Why did you just ask
They
for
were
them from
already
your friend?
made. They were already made.
Also, then so that one guy who made a jack of all trades, what's their deal?
He is the checked out guy. He's just like, fuck it, I'll take that skill, I don't have it yet. Or the guy that's like, oh, we came across a need for that skill, I'll put a point in.
Yeah.
And then, oh, nobody else has that skill, I'll put a point in. That's how it happens
See, in
sometimes.
Traveler, you're like super excited if you're the jack of all trades. You like almost never roll it. It's hard to get it. But for this, yeah, no, not in Hero.
I'm trying to
Man.
remember if we had one in ours.
I
had. We established I had one tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you all had kind of like specialties,
Yeah, you were
and
very-
then things went.
I think
Oh, wait.
Jason ended up taking jack of all trades, actually.
I don't think. I mean, it depends on how you do it. But when you roll it, if you actually do the character creation
Yeah.
as written, it's hard to get.
It is, but you can
So
you
is
can
not.
use it
So is
You
so
can
you
try.
increase your chance
Yes.
to get it for sure.
Like, did
The
Stork get it in ours?
I don't remember.
We'll have to
I feel like
find out.
somebody did. I don't remember. That was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
15 years.
Shh. It was not.
It was
15.
not. No, it was
No,
like
15 years ago.
11.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, continue. Keep going.
No. But now I want to make a game where I have the players all play my friends, and we are all in game sitting down to play a game.
Oh my god, so meta.
Like, it would be so
I
delightful.
want to see what you write for my character sheet. Please.
I would pick all my friends that don't play tabletop RPGs
You
as the
have
character.
to.
That would be funny,
You would
actually.
have to. That would be amazing.
That'd be great.
It's kind of like NPCs, the
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't care how cool your campaign was or how amazing it was when character X finally got retribution on Big Bad Y. The con game is not your campaign. Now, don't get me wrong, one can inspire the other, but if you, the GM, can't separate the two and let them take divergent paths, then stop and do something original. I, the con player, have no nostalgia for something I wasn't part of, and won't appreciate the jumbled up mess of a plot made of supposedly awesome moments. Go back to Rule 0. Do your prep and actually plan out a coherent one-shot. Now, based upon all of that, my final rule will come as no surprise. Rule 4. Pay attention to your player's engagement. Yeah.
Yep.
It is rough when you see somebody drifting away when you're running a game.
Or all of them.
Yeah, I never had that experience, thank heavens.
That would just
Because
add.
I would just be like, I'm going to open door policy.
Again, it's 2 a.m.
Like,
and I'm laying in bed trying
need
to go
to
to
go.
sleep.
Like that, I have to go to the bathroom. Let me pick up all my things.
Yeah.
Take it
Let me wheel away my whole ass wagon of stuff.
What a mood.
You know, I'm just, I just have to go right after this. So I'm just gonna make sure all my stuff is loaded ahead of time. It'll be great.
I forgot I
Or
have
just-
lunch.
Just abandon it.
Go.
Whatever stuff you brought to that game, this is not my hobby anymore. I am gone.
keep the books. Keep the books.
Just get up and walk out silently. Just a wild
Just
choice.
like, you know what? I gotta go to someone. I'm going out for a pack of smokes.
I book ticket.
All right. Seriously, it's not hard to see if people are actually paying attention. Are they contributing and asking questions? Are they playing on their phone? Or, as I was for most of the game, building dice towers? I was so unengaged with the adventure that during our lunch break, I went out and bought extra dice from the trade hall so I could build more stacks. Should I have tried to re-engage with the GM in his story? Probably, but by that point, I had checked out and I just didn't give a fuck, while the GM was either oblivious or just didn't care.
Or was like privately spiraling. I'll think about it for the next 20 years.
Wow.
That poor GM as well.
So that's the basis of my
brought it up
do's and don'ts
themselves.
for con games. They did. I've added a few more since then, such as all characters should have a female, male, neutral, and blank options for names. The few times I attended the Nationals after that, it was always as a GM, and I hope I never ran a game that was that mediocre. So maybe something good did come from that game. Just a shame it wasn't a fun lesson to actually learn. Craig.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That's rough.
It brings to mind my worst personal horror story of a game that was way back in the ancient times. And I sat down to play a game with a GM that was a paid representative of the company that made the game.
Oh.
And we were given characters. And the character I got, like, the way the game was described was Western-y, right? I was like, okay, cool. All right, I'm in. And then I'm given a character sheet that has stats and things on the character that are like pilot spacecraft and laser pistol and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's a Western, but it's space like Firefly. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, it's
I like that.
you know,
I dig
where
it.
it's like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
The frontier in
Cowboys
space.
versus aliens.
Sure.
I love a space western.
Okay, great. We start the game. It becomes an investigatory thing immediately, which we were never really given a reason why we were investigating, but that's neither here nor there. And then at one point, probably 45 minutes into the game, we all had to travel somewhere distant. We were going out to continue our investigation in a neighboring town or something. And I said, oh, well, no problem. Let's all get on my spaceship and I'll fly us over there. We're not going to ride a horse over there. That would be barbaric and take so long. Why don't I just fly over there? Great. And I was actually looked at by the GM and go, the statement was, are you stupid? And I went, what? What are you talking about? Well, why the fuck would you have a spaceship? What are you talking about?
Why can I fly a fucking spaceship if I don't have one?
It says right here.
She says,
Oh, that was a mistake. You shouldn't have that stuff. And it just crossed off all of the space-related things on my character and did not provide me with any skills to replace them. So my guy was just like, I'm on an adventure. I'm not good at anything. It
Oh my
Just
god.
horrible. And then the adventure kept taking turns that we would never have discovered the next step.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
And it was 10 people at the table playing this
Oh,
game.
Wild choice.
And literally, and smart, good players at this table, and there's no way we would have figured out their specific solution. And then even when we got to solutions like, okay, bad guys locked in a building. Okay, well, somebody here has some dynamite. We're going to get in that building. Cool, you like the dynamite. It blows up. Underneath this Wild West building, it's a reinforced steel structure.
What?
Yes.
So there's the sci-fi again.
Because we weren't allowed to come up with our own solutions. We had to come up with the GM solution.
Oh god, rule number 76.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do not make people guess your specific solution to a puzzle.
If your solution, I know how I sound when I say this, if the solution you come up with holds logical water, you're allowed. That should be totally viable. Otherwise, you're being a dick.
Yeah. Or at least let them try.
Yeah.
Don't have like a gotcha moment if they succeed in their roles. Like, don't gotcha your players.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
general.
Oh my gosh.
If they say they want to do the thing, and the dice say they do the thing, they do the thing.
That too.
I will say now that like I know that our Monopoly game needs to start in debtor's prison.
Yes.
I'm blowing up the bank. I gotta figure out how, but I am.
That's how
gonna
we
blow
meet.
up
We're
the bank.
Yeah, we're
Start
all
in debtor's
we are
We all
all
escape
in
from jail into the just visiting, and we're like, I'm just visiting my friend. Time to go.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Thank you for joining us for season 35, episode 11 of the Happy Jacks RPG podcast. Please support our amazing indie designer of the month, Jean-Luc from The Dungeons Key. You can find them at thedungeonskey.com. Thank you to our chat mod, James B, and to all our amazing Patreons who keep us ad-free and independent. You can join their amazing ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. And again, we're grandfathered into that very low rate, so you can support us there without worrying that they're taking too much of our money. My name is Kimmy. You can find me at Golden Lasso Girl or at Golden Lasso Games or at happyjacksrpg. Pretty much, I only reply on Blue Sky now, but we post stuff other places. But that's really the only place I chat back and forth.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm Clara. I'm all over the internet as clearly_golden, except for on Blue Sky, where I'm just clearly golden without the underscore. Also, there's like a QCG bit there, but that's fine. Yeah.
And I'm Kadave. You can find me on the Blue Skies as well at CA Sith Lord, or here on Twitch at CA Sith Lord, where I've been playing the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game, because it felt like a great time to go punch fascism in the face.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing on Tuesday nights. But soon on Tuesday nights, soon TM, I'll be back here running a new game of Electric State for all y'all, and having the most wild road trip
Oh,
through the horribly slow decline of society.
Like
like you do.
today.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Pooja. You can find me on the internet as Forgotten Saves, and I will say, as it is a good time to punch fascism in the face in gaming, it is also a good time to look up your local mutual aid societies and pick one.
Yes.
Or several, but like at least pick one and do something.
Do not let doing the perfect thing be the enemy of doing the right thing or the good thing.
You don't have to do all the things, but you do have to do something.
Yes. Here. All right. So we're going to leave you today with a song called Late to the Party by our friends at Electrotron. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
What's going on down at the end of the street? So many people that look older than me. Looks like a shindig where the drift's flowing free. The neon colors are a marvel to see. I think I